Hello everyone. I'm back with another book video review. Now I read this book quite some time ago. I think it has been like at least about 2 weeks now, and I just got time to make a video review on it. And so this is a book that I got on. It was on Kindle deal, and I got it on Kindle for I think about 99 cents or about 1.99, can't remember, on Amazon. It was on Amazon's monthly deal for February, so I got it. And so it is entitled If You Tell by Gregg Olsen. It's a psychological thriller, right, based on true story. And so that is the reason why I picked the book up, because just very intrigued about what can actually go wrong in a household with three girls back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, right? So especially when the villain here is actually the mother. So I was just thinking, like, what can possibly go wrong, and how this family dynamic can turn out to be, I mean, in terms of abusive characters, right, in real life, not some fictional stories, but in real life. So very intrigued about that, and I think that's the reason why I actually got it on Amazon. And so now, as usual, I'll be dividing my reviews into 3 sections, which is the internal layout of the book. I will be reviewing based on internal layout of the book. The second aspect is the plot development, and the third is the key takeaway message. So the internal layout, I mean, I think the formatting and all for Kindle, it was really good, easy to read. I have no complaints about that, so it's 10 out of 10. Plot development is interesting because if you see, there have been, like, there are like about at least more than 20,000 reviews on Amazon. Some of the reviews, I have to say that I actually I acknowledge, or I agree with some of the reviews for this particular book, especially 3-star reviews and 2-star reviews, because the plot development, I actually had some difficulties to read the book, because it was a page turner initially, and I was all very excited. I was like, wow, what's going on here, and things like that, very excited. But as you get past the first 100 pages, things get very repetitive, and I was just thinking, like, when is this going to end? Like, when is the next thing that's going to happen in this book? And at one point of time, I was even thinking, even if you skip like 20 pages, 30 pages, I think the story is just going to be same. I was even thinking about skipping a few pages to see if I can still follow through the storyline. So I actually fast forwarded at least about 30 pages, 40 pages. I fast forwarded. I read, but I sort of like skimmed through. I fast forwarded to somewhere to the middle of the book and beyond, and where the story actually progresses faster. So I almost DNF'd this book because it was so damn boring. At one point of time, I was thinking, I can't do this, right? But I'm so glad I didn't, because the story picked up at the later part of the book, and right towards the end, towards the ending, the pace actually, it was maintained. The pace was maintained. The fast pace was maintained, and I am so glad that the author has actually uh, decided not to repeat too many things right till the end of the book, because I think if that's the case, I think a lot of people would have just definitely DNF'd this book. So now the story is all about Michelle Notek, is also known as Shelley, is the mother in this book, the main character. And she grew up in a very abusive household as well, like a troubled household, with especially her own grandmother, Shelley's own grandmother, being someone very aggressive, very aggressive. And so when Shelley was small, she was a wild child. She doesn't really listen to her parents much, and she has never been obedient, a troublemaker sort of person. So as she grows up and she found someone, she fell in love, she got married, and that's where the problem starts. I mean, as in for her husband and for her children, right? So throughout her life, Shelley was actually married thrice. Shelley is, I believe, she is still married to Dave, her third husband to date. So Shelley actually has a daughter, three daughters. She has three daughters right now, and all three of them are actually born to different fathers, to her different partners, the three husbands that she had. And so what happens is that as she as her small family starts to grow bigger, Shelley's manipulative and psychopathic attitude actually surfaced very aggressively, and she started to abuse her husband. She started to abuse her own children, locking them outside of the house, making them run around the house, the neighborhood naked, making them sleep outside during the winter, and all sorts of ridiculous things that she does that makes you think if this is even real, like if this person is even real. I think maybe since many of us would not have encountered a psychopath in real life, this book actually comes across as an eye-opener, because we get to learn about the family dynamics of those who are trapped in abusive relationships, without any judgments, because I think that there are, like a lot of instances where I think I just was wondering, why didn't the husbands just leave her? Why didn't the family just leave her? So a series of murder actually takes place in this book, and Shelley actually killed three people. Shelley, along with her husband, killed three person, who came to live with them. That was Shelley's friend, Kathy, Shelley's own nephew, Shane, and also Shelley and Dave's friend by the name of Ron. And except for Shane, who was somewhere around Shelley's older daughter's age, the two others were actually adults, right? They were adults, but what made me wonder is, why didn't these two adults stop Shelley from abusing them, right? So I think, and even Dave, Shelley's husband, the third husband, was also, he went to jail together with Shelley, and he was released in 2016 for being an accomplice in the whole murder, in the series in the so but why, considering the fact that these are all adults, grown-up adults, who can actually think for themselves, but they fail to do so, right? So I think for plot development, I would give this book a 6 out of 10, right? The book should have been way shorter than it is right now. It's about 400 pages plus, but I think it could have just been about 300 pages, and it would have just been all right to deliver the message, to tell the story out there. And so for the key takeaway message, I would definitely say that it's about 9 out of 10. Because the reason why the three daughters actually went to Gregg Olsen to tell their stories is because they want to make sure that when Shirley is coming, when Shirley is finally out of the prison in somewhere around June 2022, people are aware of her, and to save people from being her next victim. I think that is something that touched my heart, because I think not many people are able to say, even admit that their mother is a psychopath, or their mother is actually dangerous to the people out there, and watch for them. So I think something very personal. But the three girls, they now, I think two of them are in their 40s. The last girl is 32, and they all three of them, they have decided to make the whole story into a book, to let people know about Shelley, and to let people in general, and also the government, know how dangerous people like Shelley can be if they are out there, right? So yes, for that, I think it's definitely 9 out of 10. And so I would definitely recommend this book to anyone out there who is trying to learn more about family dynamics, about abusive family dynamics. And if you are keen, you can actually check this book out on Amazon. I would definitely recommend. It's an eye-opener, I would say, especially if you have not encountered any families like this in real life. It will teach you a lot of things. And so with that, I think this book has scored about 25 out of 30. And yes, so it was a pleasant read. And right now I am reading another non-fiction book. It's more about on business and management. So very interesting as well. An eye-opener. I am reading and I'm learning a lot of things about how to implement many aspects, many things that I can actually implement as a business person myself. And so I'm hoping to actually make a review about it soon. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.